All right. Welcome to the Kowalski analysis. This is Rich Williams, everybody, also known as Husband in the Making.
What's up, everybody?
On Instagram and Facebook. So tell everybody a little bit about who you are, your story, you know, why you started the page, what what your ministry, for lack of a better term, is all about.
For me, I'm just a guy who Jesus saw and had pity on like everybody else. I got saved at 19 years old. I just got out of a tough situationships. I talk about situationships all the time.
Situationship.
Yeah.
Like that.
When you get your hopes up and like, okay, I'm just gonna focus on this one person, and but my heart got broken, and just so happened to be the young lady, and she invited me to church, and I heard the gospel for the first time. Really heard it. I went to church my whole life.
Yeah.
But I think, like the Bible says, when it's not, on good solid ground, it can be taken from you. The words of God can be taken from you. So, first time I really heard the gospel, it stuck in me, and ever since then I've been grinding, waiting on God, and loving God, and doing some prayerfully some great things for the kingdom of God.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I'm not sure this.
What kind of church did you go to as when you were growing up?
I went to a Baptist church. So no, sorry guys.
Okay.
I went to a Baptist church. So
you can share it if you want.
I can share that. I went to a Baptist church. So when I was growing up, I just thought that I got baptized when I was like young.
Same 5th grade.
Yeah. I think mine was like maybe 3rd, 2nd grade. And maybe even younger than that. But I just remember memorizing Psalm 23, the Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want, which is giving me life through these days when I really was, really am, really following God. But I got baptized, and I thought that, like many Christians, that's just like, I got baptized, I'm saying, it's just water insurance. But, that's not salvation. Salvation is repenting and believing that Jesus Christ died for your sins. So,
sure.
Yeah.
So with the church you went to when you were 19, what kind of church was it?
It was a denominational church.
Okay.
So when I went there, there's nothing wrong with Baptists or anything like that. It's just that the Holy Spirit, if the Holy Spirit is like that, there's going to be no move. I don't care if it's Pentecostal, it's apostle, I can't talk to them. But
I think Bono said religion is what happens when the Holy Spirit leaves the building.
Yeah. So the Holy Spirit just touched my heart, and it talked about sin, and it talked about repenting, and it talked about really living a solid life for Christ. So ever since then, I'm like, wow, like I need Jesus. And before that, we talked about waiting. Before that, my heart was broken so bad. I was like, I want to wait. I can't take this.
Like, yeah. So what were you like before you became Christian? Were you promiscuous?
No. I wanted to be, like any teenage boy, but I kind of was like, I guess Steve Urkel, Yeah. I'll show you early pictures, but I kind of was like Steve Urkel, I always wanted to chase more, which sounds romantic, but it doesn't really get the girl. So, I always was chasing, and I was trying to show my love, and, I really wasn't fulfilled in Christ, So I was trying to, I'm the guy, I'm the one that's going to treat you right. But
let me ask you. So you're 31 now, 19 when you became a Christian.
Yeah.
You a virgin?
No.
Okay.
Unfortunately, I was.
Yeah. So it's not, it's not about perfection.
Yeah.
But for the most part, you've been attempting.
Yeah.
To walk 12 years.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I think people, when they look and they see people, and they're like, wow, I don't know if I can do it. Look, if you go 3 months, congratulations.
Hell yeah.
If you go, congratulations.
As well.
They just happen 4 or 5 years, 6 years, stuff like that. Sometimes start over,
Right.
I think that's all it's repentance. Even the greatest men of God, you see Samson.
Yeah.
You see Abraham mess up. You see David mess up.
Right.
And the thing is, hey, I'm going to get back up because I know God has blessings for me. It's not all about, oh, to get married or, I love it,
Yeah, I love it. I'm the same. I've had long stretches. I think the longest was 6 years.
Yeah.
But I did like 2 4-year clips
Yeah.
also. But the way I look at it is like, just because if you're on a diet, like, and you eat a really shitty meal, like you don't go, I blew it, I might as well never die again. Like you just try not to eat it again. You get back up, you still benefit from the weight. But it's not like everything goes out the window just because you messed up.
Yeah, and I think that people don't give us, like, sometimes we can see people who, Facebook preachers or social media preachers where it's like, you don't feel like you have to be wrong to mess up. Like, once you mess up, it's like, or once you say one thing wrong on Facebook, you're tagged, those people who like go on and talk about certain preachers, like blah, blah, blah. Like, man, there's no grace in that.
Right.
There's no grace where, what would they do with Peter? When Peter denied Jesus three times, they probably would say, "No, he was never a true Christian." Right? Peter loved Jesus; he just messed up.
Yeah.
So I think it's important that we tell people that, listen, get back. If you're not practicing right now, you're not waiting, and you're like, man, it's a struggle. We understand it's a struggle. That's why I think places like what you have right now, me fam, with that family right now that you have, where people can get together. We're both striving, men and women, we're both striving to walk that Christian walk. And it's not easy all the time, but it's working. So,
yeah. So one thing I told you, say for the audience, was refreshing for me was when I saw your page, your Instagram page, and I saw how much you are about purity. It's refreshing for me because I don't see many men talking about it. Like guys like Tim Tebow. It's really not a whole lot of guys really talking about waiting. And even if you're thinking about like the fact
you've been attempting to walk the walk for 12 years, even if you haven't been perfect. I mean, 4 years, 5 years, like you said, that's amazing because I know what it takes to do that. And it's like you have to adjust your whole life to do it. It's not like everything has to be built around that. But where was I going with that thought? I think for like women that it gives women hope because they see a man talking about it versus just women, because I think women intuitively know it more. Men, a lot of times I don't know, for me, when I started this journey, I didn't understand the concept at all. It was only in time that God started really downloading the information, or I think I just kind of saw the patterns in my broken relationships and why they didn't work, and I started to really understand it. But I don't think men get it as much. So it was really cool to see your page and how your ministry, really. I mean, you got a ton of followers on Instagram. A lot of engagement, people responding to your thing. And I think, even like I said, attempting to wait for 12 years, because like I would say a high majority of Christian men aren't even attempting to wait.
Nah, they're not trying to.
Yeah. And if we're gonna really turn this ship around, it's got to be the men leading the charge. It's got to be men like you setting the example for other men to say, hey, look, this is the right way and it can be done. Because I think a lot of men don't even think that it's possible.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's, men, women, they don't think it's possible. So we have on one side where women think that, okay, there's no guys going to live like that. But of course you're worthy, and you walk by faith and not by sight. So we speak all the time. There's no guys. There's no more good guys. There's no more, all guys want this, all guys want that. Believe me, I got men coming in my inbox and saying, women, they don't want to wait and stuff like that. I'm like, I've seen all these women waiting. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
So I think that that's why I got out there and started speaking about it.
I love it.
Just to encourage people, because some people think that some men think that it's not possible.
Right.
And I've gotten like messages from men when I do relationship coaching, and I'm like, man, I want to wait.
Right.
Like, is it possible? And I'm like, yes, it's possible. Hey, it's going to be hard, but it's possible.
Yeah, send it to me. So, yeah, I've had a friend say it to me before. He said, he said, there's basically people when you say, if they can do it, I can do it. Like, he's like, you're that person for me. It's a friend of mine. He's married. He's like, seeing you do it makes me believe that it's possible for me. So I'm sure you're doing that for people out there.
Yeah, and I appreciate everybody who messages me, everybody who comments and encourages me. I really appreciate it because I have days when this was like, man, God, dude, well, I'm being faithful. Where's mine at? But I know that God works through patience. He's seeing what you're doing in this season right now, and even through your stuff of how you're repenting, and we see Joseph even in the hard seasons. I just start reading that in my private time, but we see Joseph where he, even when he had a dream and he was in jail, and we see him tempted by Pharaoh's wife, he's like, you know what? No, I'm gonna stay. And I'm sure Pharaoh's wife, like every time I preach that story, I'm sure Pharaoh's wife was like one of the most beautiful women in the world. I don't think he was Pharaoh's wife, but Potiphar's wife. Yeah. I'm sure she was still
banging.
She was, and it's like
she was probably an older woman.
I mean, and
he's a young guy.
Yeah. But it says, in the Bible it says every other sin, it says stand up and fight against it. But with sexual sin, it says flee.
Yeah.
Run.
Yeah.
Do not even go. Proverbs 5 and 7 talks about, hey, this is for men and women. Don't even go near that person's house. Don't go near. Don't even, it's okay. And don't even go near it. So, I think that's.
I want to talk to you about boundaries. Hold on one sec. Hey, Sean, can you hear me? Sean, can you hear me? People on YouTube said that they can't hear. Is it good now? Okay, cool. Awesome. If you got any questions, just shoot them to me.
Here's a question for you.
So, tell me about the boundaries that because like you said about, don't even go near it, like flee. Flee youthful lusts, I think is the verse that you're quoting. But so for me, it was like the first time I messed up. I think I'd been abstinent for 3 years after I rededicated, and I had good boundaries, but not like I have now. And I had a girlfriend over the house, and we were watching a movie, and we were flirty, and I thought it was dangerous, and I had to talk with her. And I've shared the story a few times before, and we had never even kissed before or anything. And I had to talk with her. I thought it was dangerous. She made me feel stupid. She was like, that can never happen, kind of thing. Yeah. And then the next time we hung out, dude, we started making out. And I could not stop. So I feel you on that, because it's like, it's such a strong. They say sexual energy is the strongest of all human energies.
I think that I've been in that same situation where you try to set the boundaries up, and women are like, no, it's never going to happen, But I think that women, when they get in that point where it's like, man, I found a man that's with me, I'm in a relationship, they put their guard down. Right. I want to tell women, you also have to be, we're weak as well. And we're raising with testosterone, and I think that if you get to the point where it's like, oh, it'll never happen, the devil is sitting right there, okay. Right. And I think we have to keep those boundaries where it's like, hey, this is where we cross the line, where it's like, kissing, no kissing, you have to decide, because if there's a big debate, you should be kissing, not kiss. But I think with me, as far as my boundaries is, I don't want to be in the house by myself alone, with the girls, because I know that when it starts, I'm probably not going to stop, right? I tried Bible studies. Believe me, I tried Bible studies. I tried prayer together. We always going to read the Bible together. I usually my boundary is, and my one of my good friends will tell you like, he won't go. Like, not by myself. Right.
That's the way I was for years. I wouldn't be alone with a woman, because after that mistake, I was like, it's so difficult. because it really limits your options. It's like when I think about this quarantine, I'm like, you saw people quarantine. They were good for about 2 weeks, 3 weeks, even a month. And then after a while, you just can't do it. They're like, they don't even care to go out in public and know what that. Because at that point, they're just like willing to put their health at risk.
Because they don't have the discipline to do it anymore, to suffer through it. And what you've done 4 or 5 years, it requires a lot of suffering through it. So let me ask you this. Why? Because I break it down very practically to people why I'm waiting. Because I feel like it's a selfish decision. I want to please God. That's why I started. But now I'm like, I see it as the best strategy for finding true love. What is your reason for waiting?
Legacy. Like I said, Psalm 147:3. Children are heritage from the Lord. I want to raise a generation where we're fighting with Christ. We're warring, we're praying with my wife and my children, and I have to decide who I'm going to be my legacy.
Love it.
So I guess that's a selfish reason for me.
It's awesome.
Which is, I know I want to raise godly children. Right. So when I'm thinking about the kind of woman I'm choosing, I'm like, okay, can she pray with me? Can she lead with me? If she has children already, can she let me lead in areas where, she's been strong in that, she has a masculine energy on? Can she let me provide that and say, you know what, let's go this way? I love you and your child. Yeah. Let's walk in this way, or because she's gonna, inherit my. That's what I feel like. When I choose her, and I have a lot of people I'm praying for. Can you pray for me? Because I'm not always up. And I think at this time and age, pastors, we need the most prayer. You see a lot of pastors commit suicide and things like that. Can you pray with me? Can we sit down and say, we do have times where communication is hard? Can we say, wait, I'm saying, let's pray together, let's get together, because the enemy is not flesh and blood. Right. The devil is trying to fight.
I just posted that verse with all the looting and rioting and everything that's going on. I'm like, man, I just
they just love them to see us against each other, because really we're not each other's enemies. Even I try to remind myself of that. If somebody like attacks me, I'm like, wait a second, this person isn't my enemy. The devil might be using them. But it's crucial to remember that, and especially in the times like we're in now. So like when you were talking about kids, what came to you? I ain't sold on the idea. I mean, I would. I've never been in love, so my thought is, if I fall in love, I'm probably gonna want them, but I don't know yet.
I know already.
But like when I think about like the way God designed all this, and that to me is like one of the biggest things that I see clearly on this. So there was a girl, I interviewed her for a podcast not long ago, and she was a single mom, and she was talking about her struggles with anxiety and panic attacks, and she's got like 2 small children that she's raising alone. And I was like wondering to myself one day, I was like, how much of what she goes through is because she's just out there, man, by herself with these kids, and she's trying to do it alone, and like what was God's design though? God's design was for her to have a man in the house supporting her, and now she's like freaking, she's panicked, she's got this anxiety, and she's probably wondering how she's going to provide, and she probably sometimes needs a break, and she ain't got no, like, she's doing it all alone, and I'm like, and if you see the stats on single moms, man, like the kid, I was raised by a single mom, but they got it so much, they don't do as good. They're so much more likely to be incarcerated, and all kinds of bad stuff. And I mean, and I realize how hard it is to manage that appetite, that sexual appetite. But when you start to really see like the consequences on someone else's life, you realize how selfish it is to be promiscuous. Really.
I think that's where it is. If you lay down, take that responsibility. If something happens and the woman ends up having a child, I think that us as men, we run scared, and that's what the devil wants. Right. I think my favorite statistic is when a child gets saved first, in the household, I think it's about like 3% that the whole family gets saved. When the wife gets saved first, it's about 9 to 10%. But when us men, we get saved first. I think it's like 97%.
Wow.
Yeah. So I think I think the devil has literally crept in and said, we can take the head out. If we can take the men out, then I got it. I just sit back and lay down but I think as us, is when we, that's why I think getting together as men is so important. When we see a single young man, don't leave that man alone, because if it's one man that can change the future of this generation, like look at Martin Luther King, when he's inspired, and women can change it too, but I definitely believe that, that we have as a head, God put us there for a reason. So if He can take us out, and that's why we gotta live strong. That's why I fight. And a lot of times when I want to be selfish, I think about the people that's following me. I'm like, I'm leading these people. I know she's texting me. I know she's messaging me.
Keeps me out of so much trouble. The fact that I talk about it, keeps me out of trouble because I don't want to be a hypocrite. So I'm like, if I mess up, I have to tell myself. So I'm like, I don't want to tell myself. So I feel like it's a good strategy for people. If you're thinking about waiting or being sexually free, just post it. Just post it on Facebook. Say, hey, I'm giving up sex. And then you're gonna think twice about doing it.
Because he said, And I think we had a question I want to answer.
Sure.
Somebody asked where do we find these Christian men at? I think that
Christian men and Christian women. Where
I think
where the good ones at?
We should just start the fact that you're single. Paul talks about I'd rather you be single for you can serve Christ. And I think that's where we can start. Start serving somewhere. Start serving in church. Start, serving in different places, and just start, meeting people. Have fun being single. Make friends. And I think make dating fun too as well. Out on dates. Don't the whole interview list on. Like we can meet good people and then not be a good fit. And I think that's what's fun about, dating and stuff. We don't make it fun anymore. We take it out. I think we have a lot of pressure, especially in Christian single men, where it's like, if you don't know, like, and before you even message me on Facebook, before you approach me, like, God has to tell you that you're my wife. How does that go?
Right.
Most of the time it doesn't go well because it's like, okay, like, God didn't tell me that, or, so it doesn't go well. So I think that when we start, just serving and start focusing on Christ and start hanging out in groups and stuff like that, like, just let it flow. Just let it be natural. Just have fun. And what God has for you is for me.
I love that quote about, basically run as hard as you can towards Jesus. And if somebody else keeps up with you, then introduce yourself. I think that's a pretty good strategy. So, what are you looking for in a wife? Because there's two questions. Somebody asked on Instagram, and they were like, what are you looking for? And then what is the process like, the confirmations that you're looking for from God as you, start moving in that direction? I think that's what it was, something like that.
Of course we're going to get a woman who loves God,
Right.
A woman who's in her feminine energy, I love girly girls, I'm not going to lie to you. I think masculine men love girly girls, like, go on, get your hair done, get yourself together, I think a lot of women are in that masculine because they feel like they have to, that in the workplace now and stuff like that, So, get your nails done, stuff like that. I love confident women, I'm looking for confident. I'm looking for somebody who can pray with me, of course. I'm looking for an encourager as well, and looking for somebody who can communicate. And one of the most important things that they think in this season that I'm recognizing as doing relationship coaching is healing. Is that person healed? Is that person going to bring that baggage? And I think we don't put responsibility on Christian women for that, because I think that we look at men and we look at them as wedding rings. That's all they can provide. We don't look at the woman and say, okay, yes, he hurt you, but have you healed from that? am I expected to pick up the baggage? And every time you turn around, and like, oh, you know, I was hurt because, you know, he did that. So I'm expecting you to not do those things. And when we fall and we mess up, you know, when a relationship doesn't work, I feel like it's all the men's fault. So I'm looking at, okay, is she healed in during those her past relationships that she has had? Is she only looking at that other person and blaming that other person and say, oh, he did this and he did that? But did she take that lesson and say, you know what, this is what I did right, but this is what I did wrong as well? So I'm looking for that too. I think that's one of the major things I'm looking at is, okay, this is what I did right, but this is what I did wrong, and this is what I need to work on. So,
Yeah. So what does it look like for you? So basically, the person asked about like confirmations and how are you seeking confirmations as you move through the dating process. Another girl asked me on Instagram, that not related to this interview, and she was like, you know, basically like questioning how would God speak to you about a person. I'm like, well, it could be a variety of ways. Yeah. It could be a, you know, this deep sense of peace. It could be like an overwhelming excitement that I'm going to him and be like, yo, God, what's up? Like, you know, like, what is your process like for that? Like, is it just like prayer and peace, or you look for signs, or is it a dream?
I think we get, oh God, with the dreams part, man, I've had women who have been like, had dreams about me before, but then they're so scared they don't take it forward, you know, they don't walk that forward. So I think it's just being comfortable and saying, you know what, let's pray about it. You know, let's walk through it. You know, I think one of the things that we can find with people in the world, they just go with the flow. Yeah, they're just like, hey, I'm interested in you, you're interested in me. Let's walk together. Like we can exclude the sex and stuff like that. Let's just go out on dates. You know, you know, like let's pray together. Let's go to church together. Things like that.
Even before dates, just be friends.
Yeah,
you know, like because I feel like I think it was I don't remember what book it was, but they talked about how, you know, friendship, your feet are pointing this direction, and when you date, you decide to point your feet this way.
Yeah.
If you ever point, and I've done this, I went out, this was a long time ago, but I went out with a girl, so I met at church too quick. And then I wanted to point my feet back this way, and she got mad. It was like one date.
Man, we don't give grace to our men out of church because it seems like you go to church and you, okay, you know, I found somebody in church, so you go on a date with them, and then like
there's an expectation.
You're like, yeah, it's an expectation. Like, oh, like you should have known. There's so much pressure on this movie. You should have known that, you know, that wasn't your wife, and you're not hearing from God. Like, women of God not make mistakes either. So it's a lot of pressure on us, like going into church. And I think a guy started speaks. He talks about that. Like, we go out on a date. On one date, we talk on the phone for one time, and it's like we're, you know, like cut off from every woman in the church. It's like it don't matter if it was like a week or it's like 2 years ago. And I think we just need to give grace to our men of God and say, okay, it's okay that we thought we heard from God, but we made a mistake.
Yeah,
you know, just grace. I need grace. Yeah, I need grace.
So. No, you're right. You're right. We need to give each other grace. You said that earlier about, you know, how we tear each other down.
Yeah,
especially like people on television, like, you know, I hear people knock. I don't want to get into names.
I don't name names.
Joel Osteen.
Out there.
We're in Houston.
Yeah.
So, but like Joel, man, they love to hate on Joel, and I'm like, you know, like I like Joel. I think he's very motivational. I think people watch him that would never watch any other televangelists. Yeah. So he's reaching people and that nobody else can reach. And I'm like, why? Just run your race, bro. Yeah. Like you run your race and stop worrying about what he's doing. Because I love Damon Dash that said something on an interview. Rockefeller Records, Jay-Z's partner. He's like, look, when you're doing your thing, you ain't got time to worry about what this person over here is doing because you're so busy with your thing. Yeah. You know, but people like get caught up and they start worrying about everybody else. I'm like, and I think from an outsider's perspective, when unbelievers, they're just like, ugh.
Yeah.
You know?
What does it look like on Facebook that we're tearing everybody who's Christian or has a big platform like down? Like, I think some people just think like as soon as they have a big platform, it's like, oh, they're from the devil or something like that. Right. As soon as they don't preach like the way they want to. So I'm like, I don't know if those people are saved or not. Right. But one thing that Paul says that I'm so focused on is, look, if they preaching Christ for selfish gain, at least Christ is preached.
Right.
You know, so hey, I'm gonna let you preach. I don't even know if those people who I don't know people's personal life.
Right. Who are you to judge the Lord's servant?
Right.
The Lord will make up stand or fall.
Yeah.
And people, we do that. But so let me ask you this. This is a question I get a lot from usually women.
Mm-hmm.
Is like, how do you tell someone that you're, first off, they say, when do you tell them?
Mm-hmm.
When do you suggest I tell someone that I'm waiting?
Mm-hmm.
Like, do I put it on my dating profile or what? And then how do you tell them that you're waiting? And how do you deal with negative responses?
I don't think there's no perfect time, so I'm just upfront.
Well, yours they know before they even hit you up. All they got to do is
and I think that when you put it on your dating profile, you put it out there, hey, I'm waiting. You just let the chips fall.
Yeah.
Because if you wait too long, you know, then it's like don't put that person in yourself second, third date, and then like that person's like, oh, I don't want to wait, anymore. Or I think we think, oh, you know, they're gonna fall so in love with us, and you know, by the fourth day or by the first month, the second month, they're gonna be like, okay, I want to wait, you know, but just be upfront, you know, hey, I'm waiting, and if you're not cool with that, I'm okay with that. You know, I think that's one thing on the dating profile that you know that it's okay. You know, we put a lot of ultimatums on there. But
you ever done online dating?
Yeah.
Does it work for you, or like have you met quality people?
Yeah, I think
Which one do you use? You got a profile now?
Yeah, I do. You know,
ladies, go check them out. Which one?
But I think I like meeting people in public. You know, more because a lot of women get all these messages on Facebook and Instagram. They never see your messages. Guys get frustrated. Women get frustrated because they have a ton of guys that may be asking for the wrong thing. And I'm like, hey, just be open. I'm just open to it. I'm like, you know, I even let the women message me first because I'm like, I know you even through so many other messages. So I'm just gonna put out what I'm looking for. And if you that's what you want, then message me first. You know, because I don't want to spend all my time on dating sites, but I like public more. Because, you know, hey, I'm seeing you, it's more organic. I know that I'm attracted to you because these angles nowadays. You know what you're getting, man? These angles, and it's like this way. Yeah, you know, you took a 10-year-old picture or something like that. But I think both ways are good. You know,
you ever walked out of a date?
No, I haven't.
No, they didn't just like walk on by, pretend like you didn't see them.
No.
Okay. No. So let me ask you this: you're waiting. Would you date? You're looking for a woman that's waiting? I'm guessing.
Yeah, of course.
Would you date a woman that wasn't waiting but was willing to wait?
Yeah,
you would.
Yeah.
So she could have been like sexually active all the way up until she met you, and she says, "Okay, I'm willing to wait."
There's grace there because I think that some women don't believe that men are waiting. So when you get that encouragement, it's like, hey, you know, I want to wait, and she's like, oh, really? Like I've met women and become friends with them. You know, of course, it didn't work out. You know, but met them and they're like, I've wanted to wait since I was in high school. But I never thought a guy would wait.
Yeah.
So I'm willing to wait.
Yeah.
And I think that's a beautiful thing. So I'm willing to give somebody grace.
Yeah.
You know who? Like that's like, hey, I go to church. I love Jesus Christ. Like, oh wow. That's how I got.
Would you missionary date? Would you date a girl that was not spiritually mature maybe, but she says, hey, look, I'm willing to come to church with you and kind of investigate this? Or
that's up to God.
Yeah,
that's up to God for me, because I think that people they say, are you up to my standard of when? And I think Stephen Speaks talked about that. I was reading his book, The Man God Has for You. I was reading it for myself, to see, what he's telling women. But he's like, so many times we put our standards on top of God's, and have you asked, are they ready? Right. Are they ready where you want them to be at? God, not me. Right. Because, you can look at, okay, how many hours do they pray? Do they read the Bible? Where, God, where do you need my wife to be at? So that's what I ask. Maybe I'm not out there being like, okay, until you're like fully committed to Christ, I'm not going to be like, we can go out, we can have fun, but until you're fully committed, I'm not going to,
Yeah.
But yeah, okay, I'll go to church with you. Like, cool. If I say no,
Yeah, no, because our perspective is so limited. I actually saw a video about it. Devin Good, and he was talking about when he went out with Megan, the woman that he eventually married. he said her first date, he's a pastor, and then they're on their first date, and Megan's like, I'm gonna go outside real quick for a smoke, and he was like thinking to himself, oh Lord, like, who am I on a date with or whatever, and he like, but he just kind of left it open. That even though it wasn't exactly what he thought, maybe because she had a little bit of a reputation apparently as being like a party girl. But he just kind of let God lead, and he did this beautiful thing, and they wrote the book, The Wait. And
they've changed a lot of people in the industry, but I think he was at that point where he was like, God, you choose,
right?
So
let's talk about that because I actually did an interview with Stefan not long ago, and we talked about letting God, choose your partner. I forget what the title of the Instagram video I posted was, but basically letting God lead in the area of your love life. And people got to respond to me like, well, how do you know though? Like, how do you know if God's telling you to date somebody? Because for a lot of people, they just the whole idea of God speaking to them is foreign. Like they might believe in God, but they don't know how to recognize His voice. For me, I've developed it over the course of several years where I feel like when He's speaking, you don't miss it. But what would you tell somebody that maybe we should start now? Like if they were wanting to let God be in that area, what would you tell them?
I would tell them in this generation, hey, you're attracted to somebody, they're attracted to you, go on a date, have fun. You'll see your match there. A lot of times you can pray about it, and you can hear from God about it, but have fun, message a couple times, go out on dates, because I don't really like text messaging too much. I'm like, hey, let's go on a date, see if we're a good fit. And I think that we put so much pressure on ourselves to know, and we don't necessarily just go out and just like, hey, let's go on a date, let's see if we click, and then if not, like you're like honestly, like, hey, this brother, like right here, he might be a good match for you or something like that. So I don't think we do that in this generation enough. I don't think we just like, hey, let's just go
try it out.
Let's just,
but not too much fun.
Yeah, no, I'm not going to let's not Netflix and chill.
Right. But that's it. That's really the mistake because it's like, I don't know how many times I've met women in my life where at first I'm like, ooh, I feel something. I think I feel chemistry or some sexual whatever, and I'm like, ooh, and then 2-3 weeks later I'm like, it's gone.
It doesn't work out.
But if the old me would have been having sex within those 2 or 3 weeks.
And
then now we're in something complicated.
Yeah.
And either one of two things is going to happen, and we're going to drift into a relationship, or we're not, and then at some point, someone's feelings are getting hurt. And then that person's gone out of your life, and you got that person broken now for the next person. And they got baggage.
And I think, I think that's where healing and not tying on to one person is just like, hey, we're not going to tie down that person until we know, because there can be chemistry for 2-3 weeks and then it's on or stuff like that.
Right.
But I think that when we tie down somebody and say, oh, you got to date me and only me, don't see nobody else. I think when we do that, we put so much pressure on ourselves. And I think that's where we're at. We're putting so much pressure on that other person to, it's a old Christian joke where it's like you go on one date and then the next week, you put a ring on the finger, and that's sometimes we kind of expect that. But
what's the right amount of time to wait to date someone? Do you think where's the line between like moving too fast? Because my thought is I don't see myself dating I'm like, if I would dated somebody for 6 months, I could see myself being married within a year, meeting somebody.
Yeah, me too. Yeah.
Because I feel like when you know. But
and I don't look at that much temptation in myself either.
Right.
So,
That's the other thing. I'm like, I don't want to. It's gonna be hard. It's hard enough to wait single. Imagine when you're dating someone and you're having stronger feelings for them. It's got to be very difficult. Now, have you dated and waited?
Yeah, I've dated and waited, and when those things, when it doesn't work out, like you bless that person,
easier to break up, right?
Yeah,
a lot easier.
Yeah, so you bless that person, and you say, you know what, maybe we're not gonna fit, but I'm not gonna be upset with you, and there's forgiveness. I think that's where healing comes in.
Yeah,
we tie ourselves down on so much, and when every relationship that you get in as a Christian, it's not gonna work out.
Right.
I think we put so much pressure on it to work out, and when it doesn't, it's just we don't give ourselves on grace. So we start putting standards on other people. Hey, this you're gonna do this. If he did this, so I'm not going to, allow this to happen, or she did this, so hey, bro, it didn't work out. So just get back up, heal, and ask God to, okay, guide me more. So I think we cheat out God when we put like, okay, God, that person is for me. It isn't for me. Take them out of our life, but that's not putting in the work. We're not putting in the work, and we're not, letting that person, because we can put our own, like I said before, we can put our own standards on somebody on, where they're at in Christ, or where we think they're at in Christ, and that's not fair to you, and you're losing our opportunities just to meet some great people. Every relationship, every day, it doesn't have to lead to a relationship. We can go out and have fun, go out to the arcade or something like that. And, hey, it didn't work out, but we're not a good fit. But hey, move on.
Right. Yeah, that's good. So let me see. I got a couple things here I want to talk to you about. So this is actually an issue. Girl reached out to me not long ago, and she was basically like, "What'd you tell a woman?" Maybe she was a little bit older. I think the woman was like in her 30s. She might have been about 37, and she was like wanting to have kids, and she feels like her biological clock is ticking, and she was looking for some advice on how not to settle. Because she's stressing. So what would you say to someone like that? Like, as far as like, you tell someone to trust God, but they feel like they're, they don't have a whole lot of time left.
Seek ye first the kingdom of God, and everything will be added to you. That's the verse that God is telling me every single time I worry about my clock. I'm 31, and I dude, everybody's clock is different.
Yeah, you got some time.
Yeah. So everybody's clock is different.
Yeah.
So somebody can be 22 years old and feel like, okay, I'm not. Somebody can be 45.
Right.
But one of the things God gives the comfort in is that He feeds, the birds in the air, and He clothes the grass. How much more you? And He says, "Oh, you of little faith." So my message to a woman like that is to say, hold on. There's some things that maybe God wants to work on you.
Sure.
And I know that you may think that your clock is ticking, and I know that you want a family, but it's okay. Like, I know that burden can be a lot, but put that burden on God. What's that verse? I'm coming up with a verse right now. Take my yoke upon you and learn of me, for my yoke is easy and my burden is light. God's burden is light.
Right.
So don't put your timetable on God's timetable. And that's where we can surround ourselves with godly people. That's why I love the City Fam. I love the idea where you can say, I do want children, but God has given it to your hand.
Right.
I trust you, God, and I'm open to opportunities, open yourself to opportunities. I keep saying that every single time because a lot of people aren't open to that. So they want the perfect situation. We fairy tale ourselves to so much. We romanticize this whole, especially, Christians sometimes I feel like do it even more. We romanticize ourselves so much, and we're not open to opportunities. It has to be the perfect time, the perfect man, the perfect woman, where we're just not open to opportunities.
Yeah, that's why I basically told her, I'm like, look, God gives you the desires of your heart. If that's your desire, I believe he'll fill it. Might be the way you think, might not be. You might adopt a kid when you're 50. I mean, we don't know.
Yeah.
But the thing is the devil, he wants to get you afraid. And that decision that she was contemplating is based in fear.
Yeah.
And then what happens is you do something out of fear, and it causes your fear to come true, because then you end up getting something that you didn't want because you didn't trust God.
You're focused so much on your fear that you're not focused on other things that God is doing in your life. And I know it's hard. Look, I can attest. I know it's hard, but those that wait in the Lord shall renew their strength.
That's good. That's good advice.
Confidence that I think one of my favorite verses is the verse baptized when I was young. The Lord is my shepherd; I shall not want. The Lord is my shepherd; I shall not lack. You're not lacking anything in your life right now. You know, because I guarantee you there are married people right now, Christian married people that are like, man, I wish I was single. And then you got single people like, man, I wish I was married. You know, fight for that contentment.
Yeah.
You know, because the devil does not want you to be content. You know, he does not want you to be content.
Yeah.
At all. So when you fight for that contentment, when you fight and you're soaking in the word of God, you're soaking in prayer, you're soaking with friends and saying, you know what, I'm just going to focus on this time. I'm going to focus on my purpose, which I'm so much trying to do with husband and making. Like, okay, I'm focused on helping people. I'm focused on praying with people. I'm focused. I don't have time to worry about my clock, even though I'm like, man, I'm on a whole football team. You know? Yeah, I can definitely relate to her.
So what do you do for loneliness and boredom? Like, because you talk about contentment. So what are you doing to like make sure you don't feel
focused on the purpose?
Yeah.
And I can't say it's hard, you know, but learn and grow. Like you want to learn and grow. Like I'm in the season right now. Okay, what am I doing wrong that I can attract that woman of God into my life? I'm looking to grow.
Yeah.
I'm looking to grow. I think we stop at right there. Oh, you know, it's just not my time. But what are we doing to learn? You know, what are we? If you're a Christian woman, what are we doing to learn? What attracts them? You know, I'm learning right now. So I'm like, okay, what mistakes I do right? What mistakes I do wrong? And then just focus on me. You know, focus on my purpose. Focus on what I'm going to do in life. Like I might go on a mission trip. I don't know. You know, like we talked about that.
You may be not doing anything wrong too, right? Like you could just be, maybe God just wants you to do something, you know, with your season of singleness that you wouldn't otherwise be able to do.
Yeah.
Or maybe you just ain't ready. You know, maybe I ask myself all these questions. You know, like maybe I'm not mature. Maybe he's trying to do something inside of me, or maybe there's something that I can only do as a single person. But
the mission. You know, and
I think that's it right there, man. Is being clear on your why.
Yeah.
You know, because we were, Nicole and I run City Fam. We're having a conversation with a growing organization, and I think they might have been struggling, like getting up early or whatever. And it's like it's just your vision's fuzzy. Because when it's clear, you don't have a problem.
Yeah.
You'll do any. Your why becomes secondary. I mean, your how becomes secondary when you know why.
Yeah.
Like you just get it done. You know, even if you don't like it.
Yeah. Yeah. And I can agree with that. You know, when you know your why, you know what drives you.
So what's your future look like? My future, the husband in the making. You want to be a pastor?
I do want to be a pastor.
Lead a church?
I do want to lead. You know, and just talking about this during this time, I want to lead a multi-racial church. You know, that's why I'm thinking about doing missions and nursing if I can get that experience where I can learn Spanish. You know, get out there because I'm tired of black, white, Latino, Asian churches. In the book of Acts, we see that all races work together. They spoke in tongues and spoke in each other languages. I know there's a heavenly tongue and stuff like that, but man, isn't it beautiful when we see people of different races together? I think that, especially during this time, I'm like, man, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
And what would it look like? I'm like even imagining right now, like what would it look like if I went to Mexico, a black man, and people are looking at me and I love outside my race. I love my race. I love outside my race. It doesn't matter what skin tone that you have. I love you that you're going through something that maybe I don't understand let's be clear. I don't understand what the white struggle is. I don't understand what the Latino struggle is. I understand the black struggle is, but I do know the human struggle. I know that we're all going through something, and that I love you, and that I want you to know that our differences shouldn't separate us, but should come, bring us together. So
it's awesome. Yeah, it's somebody. I think my pastor said before, it's like what we have isn't a skin issue; it's a sin issue.
It is.
That's what it is.
Because we're not raised. I know that when I was in preschool, it was this little boy named Taylor. He's a grown man, but he was white. I didn't see color. We don't grow up with the same color. We we're taught that.
Right.
We're taught hate.
Yeah.
You know, we're taught that. You know, and it's a sin problem. And you know, I hate it, and I want to do a dick in the devil's plan for that.
Yeah, it's not even necessarily color too, because like I think the example that my pastor used when he preached the message was about like how like even in Africa you have these tribes and they kill the other tribe. It's like it's this something inside of us, it's the sin. It's not has nothing to do with skin color or even like Irish versus it. It's just people that are like, I guess we get into our little cliques or sex or whatever, and we feel like other people aren't the same as us, or maybe they're I don't know.
But I think that's God is showing us, especially you are in John chapter 4. You talk about the Samaritan woman where they were a little bit off the same tribe. It was Samaritans, they were half Jews, and you had Jesus who was a full Jew. They hating on each other.
Yeah.
Like, we know this is where salvation. We know this is where salvation. Jesus just came to her and said, you know what? We're both looking for Christ.
Right.
Well, he was Christ. We're both, Jew and Samaritans are looking for Christ.
I had a friend, and he was a little bit racist, and I freaked him out one time. Or I said, dude, you could have been born black.
Yeah.
And he was like, it shot. He didn't even. Instagram.
Yeah.
But yeah. So let's see what else we got here. So you do some relationship coaching.
Yeah.
Yeah. And your clients are typically man or woman.
Most of the time it's women that I do have.
Christian women.
Yeah.
What's some common mistakes you see in relationships?
Keep not healing. Rushing to a relationship after relationship and expecting that to heal you. I think we really need to work on like that person, your last relationship. That's not that person.
Mm-hmm.
Get that person a clean slate. And heal from that. And it's just not a relationship wounds. Sometimes it's mother wounds. Sometimes it's father wounds. Sometimes it's church wounds. So I think that when I go in, most of the time I'm preaching to that when someone's talking to that. So it's extremely bad.
Oh snap! You know what? I think this
Is it dead?
Yeah.
I got it.
I think it might have died on us. It's all right.
We'll be on the ground, bro.
This one's not far behind it.
Okay. Well, we're gonna wrap it up here soon. Let's actually check and see if there's any questions here on
Right here.
Okay.
Facebook.
Facebook, yeah. So, how does a woman run a business if being a helpmate is our future? How does a woman run a business if being a helpmate is our future? That's a So basically, she's saying like, how do I have my own identity and my own thing if I'm supposed to just come along and help him with his thing?
Yeah.
Right?
No, it's both. It works both ways. Men can help woman.
Right.
So
that's good.
I don't think it's just one. Like I'm supposed to be helping in the house. We can help as men as well.
Yeah.
So I don't think you should limit yourself from like
especially if her thing's more successful than yours.
Yeah, like I'm riding. Look at Joyce Meyer.
Yeah, right. That's a great example.
He takes the back seat. That was, I look at, some of the prophetess in the Old Testament and in the New Testament as well. Like, hey, she, God's speaking to her. Let me support her. So
right.
It goes both ways.
Yeah, no, that's
like I'm looking to support you, as well. So, yeah.
All right, let's see. What do you think about dating? This is a question that Nicole and I wanted to ask. What do you think about dating a godly girl that you don't find physically attractive?
I don't think it works. works. I
That's
don't
what we
think
said.
Yeah. I think so. Sometimes that we try to I've done it before, and I tried so hard.
Yeah.
That person loved God.
Yeah.
She truly loved God. I just could not. If you're not attracted, man, if you're not attracted to that person,
That's what Stefan actually I heard him answer that question. He said
Yeah.
the only thing that separates a friendship from a romantic relationship is physical attraction. That's it.
Yeah.
So if you don't have it, the funny thing is, I don't know about you, but I remember like when I first became a believer,
Mm-hmm.
you know, I'd have people be like trying to fix me up with like some not good looking women.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But she's a Christian. And I'm like,
Yeah.
like that's the only qualifier. Is, you know, she has to know Jesus. So
Yeah, I've had that before with one of my friends. Like, oh, she's actually a woman's attractive, but I don't go, you know, like, hey, you know, is she about the mission? You know, can she, you know, but she's like, but she's a Christian. I'm like, but that's not the only quality.
Right, exactly.
You know, like, just because that person, you still have to have things in common. You still have to have a goal.
It's gotta be
chemistry.
Yeah.
You know, like it doesn't have to be forced. You know, like. And if you go into that type of relationship, both of you are not fulfilled, you know, because a woman is going to see like, oh, he's not really attracted to me. You know, our man's going to feel like, hey, she's not really attracted to me, you know. So,
Sorry, here we have
No.
technical difficulties.
let me see, is this on Facebook?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Blurry? Oh, no, that one's good. This one was blurry. No, I'm good. All right. So how far is too far? That's a question I get pretty regularly with dating. Like as far as like the physical stuff. Like I know you said kissing, not kissing, but
Yeah.
people is that
If you feel like you can't control yourself with kissing, don't kiss.
right?
If you feel like, hey, we can only do it in public, like a little pack or something like that, yeah.
Yeah.
You know, that's why I say, you know, I'm not trying to wait too long with myself, you know, because, I think that, you know, holding hands is fine, you know, things like that. But,
The way I look at it is risk reward.
Yeah.
Like you can cuddle,
Yeah.
but here's the deal. My thought is, you can cuddle somebody, but if you end up having sex with that person,
Yeah.
you might get stuck together with that person,
Yeah.
right? And is it worth the risk?
Yeah.
Because there is a reward to cuddling, sure. You know, it's smaller boundaries are easier to maintain. So yes, I want to cuddle people too, but I don't want to get a soul tie with somebody. It doesn't even have to be sex even. Like you could just get somebody that you start feeling obligated toward because now all of a sudden you're just lonely, but now you want to date somebody else, but you've been cuddling this person, and now they're like, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So that's the way I look at it. Is like, is the risk worth the reward? You know?
Yeah, I'm not trying to go too far with anybody. You know, that's what you gotta have to decide. Like, hey, you know, is kissing too far? Is it not? That's between you and the Holy Spirit.
Right.
You know, that's between you and the person that you're dating. I want to say kissing in good marriage is hard. You know, that's why I say, you know, I want to. You know,
Right.
And that's why I'm like, if we're trying to save this, then hey, we gotta, you know. We got to shorten that time too as well. You know, not trying to put too much pressure on you know, but I would say for me, as far as my boundaries, I don't like to stay alone in the room by myself with somebody I'm attracted to. Like, of course, you know, you get so racial. Like, okay, I'm helping them move. Like, okay, we're moving stuff. We're going in at the house. I'm not going to stay on the bed.
Yeah.
The dangerous place. Don't give them the couch. You know what I'm saying? You know, that's dangerous for me.
Right.
Some people can do it. I've seen people who
Most people
can't.
Most people lie to themselves and they pretend they can do more than they really can.
Yeah, very few people can. I've seen Christian couples that have like, oh, we live together. Like, I'm like, I don't know how. I seen it one time, and
I've seen it too.
Yeah,
and I'm like, I don't get it.
I do not know how you don't, but you know,
I would be more worried about the fact that they don't. Because if you can live in the same house with somebody and not have sex, then that might not be the right person.
Yeah,
because you should be wanting to tear their pants off.
Right, and that's nothing wrong with. If you don't have sexual attraction, then you don't. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Don't get married.
If it's not hard, then there's a problem.
Right. Exactly.
You know, if it's not hard to the time, it's
Yeah.
a problem. So
100%.
I think that's where some Christians drive, oh, you know, I'm too sexually attracted to that person. I'm like, no, it's okay. You know, so
Right.
that's why we say, okay, let's wait. You know, that's why we make that commitment and say, you know, okay, how long are we willing to wait? You know, what do we have to have? You want a big wedding? You want a small wedding? Whatever. You know
Right.
what I'm saying? And then it doesn't click. You know, like, you want I want to go to marriage counseling. You know, stuff like that. See, you know, what things we need to work on, what things I need to work on myself.
Yeah. So you 12 years for the most part you've been single for most of those years.
Yeah. I've had a girlfriend, you know, a few times. So,
Yeah. You've been to a lot of holidays alone.
Yeah. I've been.
That's tough, ain't it?
Yeah, I think.
Feeling like a holiday outcast.
Yeah. I think. Let's see, Christmas. I think I've been only 1 year. I wasn't single.
I tell you, it's like the hard. I was talking to Nicole about it, and I was like, it's Christmas or Thanksgiving. You go over to your family's house, and of course everybody's coupled up, or they're married, or they got kids.
Are they asking you?
And it's like, and you're there, and you can only stay so long before you start feeling weird.
Yeah.
Right? Like you're like, all right, like you just feel it's just you're the odd man out, and then it's like, what do? You go home and be by yourself on Christmas.
Yeah.
And it's like the hardest time to be single.
Yeah, it is, and that's why you need community.
Yeah.
You know, that's why we got to sit down and talk about city.
How we're gonna do it, dude?
That's why you need community because it's hard when those people ask you, your family ask you a question, and grandma wants great grandkids, and mom wants, like it's hard, but you'll work it. You don't have to settle for to have somebody, beside you. Sitting beside you at the dinner table for Christmas. Remember, you're the one that has to live with that person for the rest of your life. Your family doesn't, So, yeah, I think that as far as for me, as when those lonely times get together, that's why we need community. I don't think we can fight. We can fight very much with with the community. Without community.
I think that's about it. Looks like we answered everybody's questions. I'm getting hungry. How about you?
I'm hungry too a little bit. Yeah, not even a little bit.
You haven't seen
Dragon Ball Z.
You're gonna like what we got. We're about to have a nice home cooked meal over here in Houston. But tell everybody where they can find you.
You can find me at Husband in the Making on Facebook or Instagram. Also, just started YouTube, so
nice.
Yeah, so hopefully I can get this on YouTube a little bit. So yeah, you can find me there, Facebook.com/BIGWIL49. So that's my personal Facebook page.
Okay. So tell us about the coaching. So do you like
singles, couples,
married, all
of it is biblical. So when people challenge me, you're not, I'm coming from the Bible.
I like it. I think it's important for women too to know how men think. Yeah. Especially to get a Christian man's perspective, because you don't have an agenda. Like you're trying to help them. And a lot of times women think that men think like they do.
And I think that men think that women think how we do.
I think so
I'm
too.
studying that.
Yeah. And neither one of us think the same. So it's important to know, if a man says this is what he really means.
Yeah.
Or if he does this is what he really means.
Yeah.
And have somebody that can really give it to you straight.
Yeah. Oh man. That's why I'm coming out. When I do come out with my book, like you talked about the book. I want people to understand how women think, and I want men to think, understand how, what did I say first? I just want people to understand how the opposite sex understand each other, because once we understand that, like, this is what men are looking for. Right. This is what women are looking for. So, and I wanted to come in a Christian perspective, because I see a lot of dating coaches, and they add sex from the and stuff like that, and a lot of Christians, they might not be willing to listen to that. I listen to it to pick out the things like, okay, I'm not doing that. I'm not sleeping with somebody for the sake of it. So, so I want to be able to come to a Christian perspective and say, okay, this is how women think, and this is how men think. where we can both, because I think we put a lot of prayer into it, but we don't put a lot of work into it.
Mhm.
Faith without works is dead.
Yeah, love it. All right, guys, that's it. Husband in the Making. Follow him on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube page is Husband in the Making. Also, check him out on YouTube. Subscribe. But that's it for Kowalski Analysis. We'll see y'all next week.